Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the show. I am super excited. Please tell me wherever you're coming from or you're joining me from. Share with your friends. Are you ready to roll? I am super excited today to see you, to hear from you, and I'm sure that God has been good to you as He has been good to me. Please make sure that you join in. I am super excited. Today we're talking everything real estate investment, real estate management, everything and all in between. I am excited because today we're going to be talking with someone that has a company. That's what he does. Sorry guys, I'm trying to connect with my Instagram family. But we are going to be narrowing it down to Alberta today. Last week, as you remember, we talked about it generally. Before you invest, what should I do? And one of the things that Mr. Femi Aguda said is location. It's very important that you invest in the right location. A lot of times people forget that a lot of times, let me just say that a lot of times people forget that when you're investing, it's not just about you. You're looking at how can this be better for my children? How will it be better for my spouse? How will it be better for myself? Is it in a very prime area, right? You know, some people forget that it's not just about you when you are investing in real estate, right? And you know, one thing we added, multi-generational wealth. How many of us are here for that? It is very important. And if you're joining me on Instagram right now, welcome. You can see we're using our green screen today and we're excited. We are excited. So today we'll be talking about everything real estate investment in Alberta. And today we'll be talking to the CEO of Divine Realty. And he will be sharing with you a lot. So guys, make sure you share with your friends, share with your family. Make sure that you let your friends know. For those that want to that they're trying to migrate from Nigeria or whatever part of the world you're migrating from, the UK, or even you're trying to come to Alberta from Ontario or Manitoba. I get that question every time. Here is a chance to talk about all this. So without further ado, let me invite Mr. Isreal Ademola. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. This is your first time on the show, so we should give you our yay. That's our welcoming gift. Welcome to the show. We're excited to have you. And I know that a lot of people have questions that they want to ask you. Guys, are you ready for the questions? So for those that are just joining us, welcome. This is Life Matters with Anna Dedere. We talk about marriage, money, family, everything that concerns each and every one of our lives. And if you have not done this, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can get so much content that we've shared over the last 4 years. And you know, one thing we've also been doing, we've also been trying to get you guess that you can relate with whatever they're saying because you are in that environment, or like if you're in Canada, or if you are in Dubai, or if you are in UK, we try to get from different parts of the world so that you can hear from the experience. It's not just about you. You get me? It's about the experience of learning. You know, my guest last week said one thing. He said, it is best to learn from people's experiences and not you make that mistake yourself. And you know, a lot of people run away from wanting to learn from people's experiences, but it is important for you to actually learn from people's experiences. So today, so that I don't talk too much, I have the CEO of Divine Realty. He'll be sharing with us a lot. So if you have any question as regards real estate investment, real estate management, what's different between condo and townhouse, what's different between townhouse and family house, okay, don't ask me any question again. Come ask Mr. Isreal Ademola. So, Mr. Isreal Ademola, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why. I think the first question I always ask, why do you love real estate?
Thank you very much for that question. And my greetings to everyone in the house and those that will be watching the program later. And I want to say a big thank you to you. Please don't mind my voice at this time. I don't know what's happened, maybe because of the code, but I'm trying to catch up. Yes, real estate is what I love to do. And if you hear the name, it's called Divine Realty. Not because the Divine Realty was birthed out of the way the whole situation took place and how I got into real estate per se. So just to give you a little bit of background of how it all happened. Uh, I've been someone that I'm somebody that doesn't like to know how much I make as an income. It's like you working for someone, you actually know what you make every now and then. If you work, I hope you're getting me very well. If you can hear me properly.
Oh, yes, we can hear you very well.
So I I don't like to know what I make as an income. And in this part of the world, you have you either have a fixed income or you have business of your own you're running. And what do I mean by fixed income? Is you working for someone, you know what you get paid every 2 weeks or in a month. Um, I'm not really comfortable with that kind of lifestyle. But as God will have His way, I remember then a couple in my church that I attend, and they were just looking for somebody to manage their property because they've been having challenges with that property. Those properties actually, it started with one property, just one, and they approached someone. Somebody talked to me that they know somebody that has this energy that can help them to look after the property. And we said, well, they get it. They got hold of me, and I said, yeah, this is what I can do. And dealing with people is the hardest, I would say, if not the most number one, but the hardest thing you can experience in life. But if you can deal with people, manage people properly, and make things happen, before you know it, it started going on well. Then along the line, I one thing led to the other. They introduced me to a condominium that has been having challenges, even working with a bigger condo corporation. You know, they couldn't get rid of that property. They've been having one issue or the other. Before you know it, I opened up a condominium management company, and I took over the condominium. So from a bad situation, from a bad experience that they were going through the help of the condo board working with me, we were able to, resolve most of the problem that they had in that corporation. And I discovered that this is my area of interest. I took the education that requires, and before you know it, I get into it big time, moving from one place to the other before I set up my brokerage. And before you know what is going on, I begin to build up each portfolio, and with hands-on experience, not just uh, paper-based experience. Over the years, I've learned a lot in real estate. I've seen the pitfall, the way you can go about it, the way you can, actually make money, and the way people have get into it, got their hand bumped, not asking the right question, not dealing with the right people, not engaging people that actually went through, I would say, fire when it comes to dealing with people, dealing with documents, engaging the right stakeholders, even dealing with the owner at the same time. So with that, I've been there, and I've cut across all the corners, and I know what it takes to invest in real estate. And I will tell you, one of the best things to do and one of the best steps to make in life is to invest in real estate.
Mm. Thank you very much. I believe people were able to get that, but I think that will go to my second question, which will be, and please, if you have any questions, people in the comment section so that he'll be able to answer your questions. But we already have like pre-planned questions that we'll ask him. So but if you have any questions, please make sure that I put it in the comment section. So my first question will be, in Alberta here, what does it take to become a real estate agent? Because some people feel like, I know I have friends that manage real estate in Nigeria and they want to come abroad, but the system is very different here. You don't just have to say, oh, the person. So this is how it is. This is how I think about it. Then in Nigeria, when you have a property, I'm using Nigeria as a focus because that's where I grew up. And I remember that when you are like a real estate agent or whatnot, most times your work almost doubles down and people start calling you caretaker, right? Because you're the one that takes care of the house and you're the one that gets rent and all that. So is there a for me to become a real estate agent, so if let's say I have years of experience doing that in Nigeria, where I was both a real estate agent or I was into property or I was a caretaker, like we'll call it in Nigeria, and I now got here and I feel like, oh, you know what, this is actually something very different. How do I just get into the system, or what are the things I have to do to become a real estate agent here in Alberta, or if there's one central
So,
body in Canada?
so we have a body that manages real estate agent here in Alberta. You don't just jump into it. You have to um, be licensed to become a realtor here in Alberta, and in Canada general, I would say. And the body is called RICA. It's called Real Estate RICA here in Edmonton. In Alberta, I would say generally. So you have to go through some education verification. You have to go through the process. You have to go through the study. You have to sit for exams. You pass the exams, and when you become, I think we have different aspects of real estate that you can venture into. We have property management. We have residential and commercial. We have rural also. So it depends on where you want to start. Before it used to be one whole package, but now you have to take one course after the other. So, and it depends on you how fast you can take the course and based on your experience. This is how you go about it before you become a real estate agent. You don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm a real estate agent. So you have to go through all the training. So when you finish the training, at every phases, you'll be writing some the exams that it requires. Say you want to be licensed in property management, you take the exams, the training that it requires. You first of all you do the eligibility test to see if you qualify to go into um, the system. Number two, you make sure you have a very good criminal record. You don't have a bad criminal record. Even if you have, you must have resolved those issues before you can come on board. And when you say you start with property management, you're done with that course, you do the exam, you are licensed. And to be licensed in any aspect of your real estate, you have to register with a brokerage. So brokerage will be the one that will help you to get a license through RICA. And when you get a license, you still have to register with the local board, real estate local board. If you are in Calgary, you register with the local board in Calgary. If you are in Edmonton, you register with one in Edmonton. If you are in Lloydminster, you do the same thing. So you don't just wake up because you have words of experience from where you are coming. The law that applies where you're coming from is actually different from the one that applies here in Canada because everything here in Canada is moderated. So you have to work according to the rules and the standard. That is how you go about it.
Thank you very much. You know, one thing you just mentioned that a lot of people know that we have that is like a pain is that back home, for those that come from some parts of Africa, it is that regulation that is not all bodies have regulation. So someone can wake up tomorrow. I can wake up tomorrow morning and go to Nigeria and say, I want to be a caretaker. And there's nobody that's going to say, oh, there's a body of, yeah, there might be those bodies, but are they regulated? Are they strict? Like you can't actually be a realtor. You can't sell any property without a licensed real estate agent, right? So in my head, it comes to the fact that a lot of people, when they come here, they almost want to find it difficult to get into the system because they don't know that it's a bit different from what you have back at home. And it's good that you're able to lay it all out here. So my next question is, which is the crux of the topic, which is real estate investment in Alberta. A lot of people have had properties before now, or they are thinking of getting a property. So let's start from the first time home buyer. What are the perks or what are the advantages of being a first time home buyer? That's number one. And number two will be that if I don't want to live in that house and I just want to invest, I'm not planning to what they call it. I'm not planning to live in the place where I'm buying. I just want to use as a like a rental or Airbnb or what it is. So what should I watch out for with that? And I think the third part of it will be for someone that's just migrating. What would you say they should go for? Do they go for a house or a townhouse or a condo or a flat? So I'll refresh the questions, but let's start from the first one. What are the perks of being a first-time home buyer here in Alberta? What are the advantages? What are the things to look out for a first home buyer?
So thank you for the question. And that is a very good question you've just asked. It involves so many things. One shoe does not um, fit all. It depends on your plans, number one. It depends on your status, number two. It depends on your pocket, number three. Then it depends on what you qualify for, number four. So, as a first-time home buyer, a lot of people get so many information from people that does not really have all that it takes. Based on their own experience, they will give you advice, which is good sometimes, but it's good to engage an agent that know what they're doing to advise you on what to do. For instance, if you're coming as a student, if say you're what to do from where you're coming from, you have a parent that can sponsor you. Yeah, it's good to start by owning a property. It doesn't have to be a bigger property. Two ways you look at it. Some people will tell you buying a house is the best, not buying a condominium. I will ask you a question because I always like to engage people based on their needs, not based on their wants. If you tell me what I want a million home, $1 million worth of house or even more. But another question I will ask you is, okay, if you're a student or if you're a single person, you're just looking for a place to live, and you want to buy a house worth of 500,000 for what? What do you need it for?
What if the
Okay,
person wants to buy a house and rent the rooms to his or her friends so that they can stay in one place and be getting the rent from the friends as his income?
so
I'm
that is
just saying.
why I said we have to look it from two perspectives. If you are a student, you can buy a house. Then, if you get something around your school, you are living in a particular unit while you rent others. Others that are renting from you, they are paying your um, equity on that property. They are paying your mortgage. Even if you are not making much from them, they are paying your own rent. You are not even paying the rent. You use their money to pay off the mortgage on that property, pay off the property tax, pay off the utility. Then you live for free. At the end of the day, when you're done, you might choose to sell the property or you might use it as an investment property. That way, you go to school for free, then you're still making money on the other hand. If you choose to sell it, you have built equity right there. And that is what is coming back to you at the end of the day. But if you choose to leave it as an investment property, yes, you can leave it as an investment property and go and buy another property. For some people, they just need a place to stay. So if you're just coming, say you're just coming from Nigeria or you're coming from any, or you are a first-time home buyer, and they talk about condo. Hey, some people say, oh, condo fee. I don't want to pay for condo fee. Yes, true, you'll be paying for condo fee. But one thing you should understand is that even if you own a home, a large portion of the house, if you are not renting some of it, say you're trying to buy, oh, I just want to buy a small house, I want to buy a bigger house, or I want to buy a house where I can be living and I'll be renting at the same time. That you can do at the same time. But for some people, they just need a place to stay. So going for condo is not also a bad idea. If you are paying condo fee, you are paying condo fee to take care of so many things. Common area, clearing of snow. Uh, Sometimes in condominium, you don't have to pay for what's it called? Pay for gas, pay for water, things like that. It has been included in the condo fee. Then also they pay for condo insurance. That is different from content insurance or homeowner insurance. That people need to get that clear. Some people believe when you own a condo, you don't need an insurance. You do, especially with the law that we have in place right now, because anything could emanate from your unit as a problem. Maybe there is a water leak that go down to the other units below. You will be responsible for it. And the deductible might be what will be too much for you to handle. Now the condo corporation can charge you up to $50,000 as a deductible that you have to pay from your pocket, even if condo corporation are paying the rest through insurance. So all of this you need to know. And if you're buying a house, there are different types of properties right in the market. I engage people. I want to know what are their plans before going to buy. So I help to advise on what I think they should go for before they gamble into it. Because real estate is not like uh, a pepper or goat or cow that you want to buy. It's a very big investment that so for some people it might be one of their lifetime greatest achievement they've achieved in life. So you have to think very well, engage people that know the road, and they'll be able to guide you through to make a proper and informed decision concerning your real estate needs.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think whoever is watching or listening here, you're taking notes. You're taking notes. So for those that say, we don't really need insurance right now. My sister, my brother, don't do that. Don't do that. You gotta have your insurance covered. One thing that I wanted to point out that you said is I think the reason why people are not informed of like what type of house to buy, or as a first time home buyer, why they don't look out for those things, because so I remember when I had a guest that she's into money management, she's a banker, and she's a financial advisor, and she said she remembered when this family just migrated to Canada. She told them that, oh my God, congrats, right now the bank is running a promotion where hi everyone, the bank is running a promotion right now, and the promotion is for families that just migrate into Canada, and that this particular bank account will work best for them, right? So she told this person all the details so that the person will be able to maximize this benefit that the bank had. But the person came back and told her, oh, my cousin that's been living here for 20 years said there's nothing like that, there's nothing like this. And the person kept telling them all the things everyone around them were telling them, this is the kind of bank account to open. She said she kept explaining to them, but the customer is always right. So the customer went for what her cousin said. And at the end of the day, they said same monthly fees. So they came back to the bank and started accosting her for, oh my God, you told me this. And she said, no, I told you that for this first time landing, if you're landing from a particular country, this particular bank account, there was actually no fee for the first year. So the bank was waiving 1 year free bank, whatever, right? But her cousin that has been here for so many years that didn't get that opportunity felt like someone was trying to rip you off. So you should go with this, and this. And this comes to my next question. Yes, I know Mr. Ademola is a very good man, but I have a cousin living here in Canada and told me, once you get here, don't buy any condo. You and your family go and buy a house. And like you just explained, you have to sit down to understand the peculiarity of your own family's dynamics, right? So the family dynamics for you is right now, your husband or your wife is the one working, you're not working yet. If you get a house and you don't have enough money, or you're not like saying, okay, we're going to stay upstairs, we'll rent the basement out, you're going to get to a money fix, and you start hearing someone that just got to the country is having the house foreclosed because they couldn't pay like their mortgage or property tax and stuff like that. So I think, like you said, it is very important that when you come into the country, or even if as an investment for yourself, make sure you sit down with someone that will objectively tell you, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what will work better for you. And when you do that, the person that is actually talking to you will be doing it in your best interest, not for themselves, but looking at your own family dynamics or individual dynamics. So you won't be falling into that trap where, like I said, the example of this particular family, and they had to be paying $14 every month in bank charges, and they'd already locked it. So she couldn't go back. She said, because you declined that offer, I can't actually go back to do that. So do you think representation matters when it comes to real estate agents in Alberta? So I don't know. So I think I know 2 or 3 people that are Africans that are into real estate management. But do you think representation really matters? And is there like an African community of real estate agents that we need to know, so that when we have these questions, we can easily call them and say, oh, when you see someone, I remember that something in school that they said, something similar, you gravitate more to something that looks very familiar or similar to you. And that is, I can always have these questions and freely talk to you, because I know that my predicament coming from home, that I had this property back at home and blah blah blah. You understand what my peculiarity will be here. So representation in real estate in Alberta, are there a large number of Africans? And if there is there a community that we can have access to?
I really appreciate you once again for all these questions you are bringing up uh, for clarification. You see, where we came from, we have this kind of mentality. Sometimes we think we're smart, and a lot of time we get our unborns. You mentioned something that if you will learn, you don't have to learn from your own mistakes. The best way to learn is to learn from the mistakes of others. Now, they will tell you there are much to say concerning what you just talked about, but let me see how I can put it to be able to make it coherent. Number one, you are coming into the country for the first time. Not every house that you are buying, some people will say, most people actually, almost everybody that I've come in contact with, oh, I want to buy a house whereby I can rent the basement and I can, live upstairs myself and family and generate income. But there are more you need to know. Not every properties that is out there can you can rent out the basement. In the sense that to rent out the basement, you need to have the legal suite, right? It has to be legal if you are renting out the basement.
So
In
do you
some
want
cases,
do
some
you
people,
want to briefly explain to someone that doesn't understand what a legal suite is?
yes, I will explain it. So I'm just trying to, lay it down accordingly so that people can better understand. So if I have a house and I have the basement developed, does not mean because that I can rent it out to someone to live in there because it's developed. A legal suite is a house that has upstairs. It has its furnace, has its electrical system, has its heating system. The basement also has its own kitchen, has its own. Sometimes the electrical system could be the same, but has its own heating system and is set up like the upper level, and it has its own separate entrance. That is legal suite. So that is the standard property you can rent out, and the cost of acquiring such property is more, way more than just acquiring any other property that you want to live in there. And some people will come with this notion that, okay, most of the time, why many people would say, oh, I want to get a house, I want to get a house, is that, okay, I can get a house, then I can develop the basement later on, and, I can use it as an investment property. Some people, they've got a house that does not have what it takes to be a legal suite. They got a house, they never realized that you have to set out some amount of money to convert the basement to a legal suite at the same time. So that cost, you need to factor that in if you are getting a mortgage from the one, because because at the end of the day, if you did not factor this in while you're getting a mortgage, I've seen a lot of people that bought a house with no developed basement. So they struggle almost the time they live in that house, and they never get the basement developed at the end of the day. Whereas they are paying mortgage that covers the entire house. The basement is just lying there waste. They just use it as a storage at the end of the day. What you'll be paying for heat and utility will be more for such property. All in the name, I want to, use the basement as investment. At the end of the day, you that you are making, let's say you are making 5,000 in a month, or only the husband or the wife is working, you barely just pay all the what it takes. You barely just pay your mortgage, take care of your monthly needs, where do you come up with about 30 to 40,000 dollars from your pocket to develop the basement and now start generating income from that property? So I used to tell people, you don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. Start from what you can afford for now. And what you can afford is what will take care of you, your family, if you have family, if you have one. Then as time goes on, if God increase your income, then you can think of, okay, owning a second property. Most especially if you buy the first house in the name of the, say, yourself or your wife or your husband, you can buy the second property in the other in your partner's name. Then that way you don't have to be paying about 20% or more on the second property, because the system here regulated that when you buy the first home, if you buy it in your both names, you will have to pay about 20% or more to get the second property. And that becomes challenges for so many people to get a second home. So those are the things you need to factor in if you are buying a property as a first time home buyer. And that is why I said earlier that one shoe does not fit all. It depends on your needs. And this is where I come in as an experienced real estate agent. I always like to engage people, because but there are some other agents out there when you just tell them, oh, this is what I need. Oh yeah, they go for it. But I think I've gone beyond that level of, hey, let me just make my ends meet and go away. Because whatever I do to you today is not about you, but it's about people that come through you. You are one customer. I can get to know or meet over 100 people through you. And the way I service you will determine how you refer people to me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I take my time to ask all these questions from whoever that is uh, trying to invest in real estate, to know what their needs are and to advise them based on their needs, and let them know, okay, if you're going this route, this what might be the challenges. This is what might be the opportunity that you can tap into, and with that, you get to achieve your goal at the end of the day.
Wow, thank you very much. I had to like start writing out some of the things you said. And one of the things you said is make sure you live within your means. You can't manage well what so what I believe you're saying is if right now you're staying in an apartment and you can't manage the apartment well, you won't be able to like your payments, like and management as per even how the house looks like, cleaning the house, making sure the house is looking good, and affording your lifestyle there. If you can't manage that, going to a bigger or whatever space, you won't be able to manage it, because even the small place where you started from, you weren't able to manage it. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people forget, that I feel like if I live in a small place, but I have excess money as extra income, it's better than me living in a big space and struggling because I want to say I'm living in a big house. Do you understand what I'm
Competition,
saying? So, yes,
competition.
a lot of people always feel like I have to look good for who? You are living a lifestyle for people that don't even care about you. They don't even care whether you are A or B or C or D. What they're doing is that they're living their own life. And the funny thing is that all these people that people think that they're looking at them, they actually don't care. Like they are winning, they are making money and they are winning in their own corner. I think there's this illustration that I saw, I think it was some months ago, where the two men were digging the ground. They were digging the ground. So this man struck gold and it took one big gold and just went with it and just said, you know what, I'm good. The man that he was digging now said, how can this guy go and reach gold? So he left his own stuff and went and started digging this other guy's stuff. And they now showed us the back of his own. If he continued digging, there were so many gems behind it. So in investment, you are not thinking of your neighbor. You are thinking, how can I manage this property? How do I make sure that if I give someone to manage for me, or like an investor, like how do I make sure that where I'm staying right now, I can manage it well enough that if I leave and I go somewhere else, that same habit of managing, that same habit of living within my means will not, like they will say, chop me up. Right? So I think it's very important that there's no competition. What I see is we should even compliment. I should be happy if Mr. Ademola has 3 properties on my street, and I'm able to say, on this street, all of us that are Africans, or all of us that are Christians, or all of us that are friends, we're actually winning together. I don't see it as a competition. So, like he said, make sure that you live within your means. If you're buying a property for investment, buy it within your means, because God forbid, and I think there was even one thing my dad was saying some days ago, where there was this person that was living at the other side of like the condo area, right? And the owner now said, oh my God, that this person has moved out and has moved to his own place, and which I'm very happy that he moved to his own place. But the man was lamenting that, like, that's the end, like he has to now start looking for a new tenant in November, December, which is always very difficult. And in my head, I thought about him, like, imagine if that was his only source of income, and he said this is what is going to tie down. So if, let's say, his tenant had an issue with in life and just moved out, right? So that's the end. Like, you can't do so much. You get. So I think that managing well what you have and making sure that you're able to live within that means, have extra forms of income, and also just speak out, talk to your real estate agent, say, this is what I need help with. I think it's very important. So I think my next question will now be, when I now buy, investing in different parts of the province, right, or investing here in Alberta, what's the peculiarity for the investment in Alberta? I know that people say the 5% tax is like is one reason why they want to leave Ontario or B.C. or whatnot. But if I want to say, okay, Mr. Ademola, I've come to meet you, I earn 5,000 every month, and that's how much I earn. And this is my, at the end of the year, I earn about $60,000. I want to start investing in real estate, and not where I will live, right? But somewhere where I would be able to rent out. How do I go about it? What do I do?
So, another challenge people run into when it comes to real estate investment, some people engage um, real estate management company to manage their property for them, which is very smart. Some people say, "Oh, I can do it myself." But one thing you need to know is when you are doing a real estate investment, you need to see it as an investment. But many see it as, you know what, an investment, but at the same time, you need to see it as a company of its own, not yeah, I have a source of income here. So the money, whatever the money comes in, yeah, I can just mix it up with what I make, then I spend it. This is where people get into trouble. When you have another property that is generating income, and you got a say you got a tenant living in there, whatever income that is coming from that property, I don't believe you should touch it. Set up an account where the money is going. Let it keep going there. You don't have any business with that money. From that money, you pay your all the bills that pertains to that property. See it as separate entity, separate investment. But people, even like the one you just mentioned, that someone has a property and has a tenant that is living in the basement, if I get you right, and the tenant move out, you start looking for uh, how to get another tenant. Hey, how do I go about it? For some people like that, whatever rent they are getting, they are spending it every month. They mix it up and they are spending it. And that is why some people get into trouble when it comes to time to return back the security deposit. They've spent this money and they begin to struggle and they say, oh, you've destroyed this property, oh, you've done this, you've done that. All in the name that they do not want to return back the security deposit. But if you see it as a separate entity that is running on its own, you have an account set up. Even if somebody is managing it for you, you don't tamper with this money. If there are, because a time will come that you need to do a bigger project on that property. You will need to maintain it. This is where you get money from to maintain it. And there are some other property whereby upfront you are not making money. It look as if you are running to loss. You are not running at loss. For some property, maybe you barely make $100 for investors. This is why investment mind is different from somebody that doesn't have investment mind. They might have two, three properties. Maybe two of the properties at the end of the day they are making $100, $200, or $300 on it. Maybe one of them they are not even making anything. Yeah, to you are not making anything, but you are building equity. I don't know if you understand that. By the time you sell the property at the end of the day, there is money you have invested in it that you will be taking out at the end of the day. It might be after 5, 6, 7, 8 years or 10 years that you've been running that property. So whatever is coming back is yours. So, but if you don't see it as an investment that runs on its own or a corporation, a lot of people get into trouble when it is time to fix a major project on that property. And a good property turns out to be a bad property because you cannot give it proper maintenance that it needs. Even also your own house where you live. And this is where you see the difference. Somebody may say, okay, oh, I have to buy a new house. Well, you don't have to buy a brown new house. Uh, Buying used and resale house is more or less like buying a new house. Even getting the used house, there are some improvements that is already on that house that you will not have to pay for when you buy it. But if you go for new property, mind you, say you go to showroom, you see the way everything is looking glittering. Oh,
Showrooms are staged. I think everybody should have known
uh-huh.
that by now.
No, not everybody knows. That is why they are running for, oh, I want to go buy new property. I want to go. It is just staged. By the time you do the closing, everything will be taken out. You will now start from scratch. Okay, what do I put here? And I used to tell people the kind of house you want is in your head, is in your mind. You can make what you have what you want. And that is why I talk about competition. Oh, my colleague, oh, we started together. Oh, even I was there before him. Oh, he bought a 600,000 worth of house. I have to go and buy the same thing. No, you're getting it all wrong. What it will take you to even decorate that big house will be way more. And this is not what you can do within 1 month. It's over time that you'll be doing that. But what matters most is maintain your property very well, like you are maintaining your health. Because that you are building value on your property. Some people buy property after a year, you'll be asking them, is this a new property or is an old property? Some people have gotten their house for about 6, 7, 8 years. It still look like new because they give it the proper maintenance it needs. So when they are about to turn it over, oh my God, their property appreciate even way better than you that you pay more for your property initially. So I think I'll
Wow. So,
stop.
so going back to the crux of, so what are the things if I want to start an investment right now? I'm earning, so I
Yes.
give a figure, 60,000 or let's say 80,000 a year. and I want to start investing. Now you said I should look at, okay, what exactly do I want to use this investments for? I should make sure that I separate it from my personal income so that when anything happens, I can either reinvest with the money that's getting out. So make it a separate entity. But do I just wake up tomorrow morning and go to the bank and the bank will give me money? What does that process look like when it comes to investment that is not the house? Because I know that there is a percentage that is different from for when it's not your first time home and it's not a house you're living in.
So with that, I'm not a mortgage specialist, but if you're buying a property for an investment, you will need at least 20% down payment to start with, because it's not a property you'll be living in. You want to use it as an investment. So you have to you have to be committed. They ask for more from a lender perspective. You have to pay more for that property. It depends on the value of the property you are buying that will determine the amount you'll be paying as the 20% or even more. So if you say you have $40,000, calculate the percent of that compared to the 100% of the property worth that you want to buy. You get what I mean? So you can't just say because you have I have $80,000. Yes, no, I'm qualified for 800,000 worth of property that I can be. No, 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 no. You have to cut your coat according to your clothes, not according to your size. So
Yes, that's the new one. You have to cut your coat according to the material, not your size anymore,
yeah,
because the material
not
can give
not
you
not
anything.
your size. Exactly. Then another thing you need to know, have at the back of your mind is there are some money you need to set aside for closing. Then also there are some money you need to set aside for maybe some few renovations that needs to be done on that property that you are buying. But what matter most is if you are buying any property, you have to check location, check the status of the property, and also you should be willing to adjust in terms of price, because number one, you can have it all. Sometimes you could, but not all the time. You must be willing to let go one for the other. It's either the size of the property or the location of the property or the condition of the property. All those things matters. There are some property that, oh, they are in a good location, but you have to spend a little bit more to put it in shape as an investment property. Sometimes they are in a good location, the size is not that big based on your purse, and sometimes you have to check what you have in the pocket to be able to go for the kind of property you want based on the location.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But before we wrap up, and I know that we have just 7 minutes at the end of the show, my question is for those that are still in the doubts of house, townhomes, condos, apartments, can you just in 5 minutes give us what are the benefits of investing in condo? What are the disadvantages in a house? Disadvantages in like a townhouse, disadvantages, apartment, disadvantages, so that people can know what they want to do. Because some people are like, oh, let's get multi-family apartments. Some people say, no, 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 I just want to buy townhomes. Some will say, oh, no, 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 I just want to go for condos. And some will say, okay, I just want to buy houses. So maybe two of each, advantages, disadvantages, so that people will go and do their own research themselves.
So thank you for that question. Uh, Let me start from a single family home. Some people like to invest in a single family home. One of the advantage of investing in a single family home is if you have a single family home and you're using it as a rental property, over time I've noticed that when people rent a house, most of them they see it as their home. They they acquire so many things in the house to the point that it becomes very hard for them to move. If they want to move to their own house. They don't want to move from one house to another house. So they end up being a long time tenant because they become so comfortable. Number two with that is the utilities, the clearing of snow and things like that. As an owner, you don't take care of that. The tenant take care of those things. But the downfall of that is by the time they will move and you don't get another tenant right away, this is where it becomes challenge for the owner. You are paying mortgage on your own house, you'll be paying mortgage on the other property. Another challenge with that is the property tax you'll be paying every year on a single family home is way more than what you'll be paying on a condominium if you own a condominium. That is that for that. If you own a condo unit, the good thing about condo unit is that there are a lot of issue like um, clearing of snow, dealing with one problem or the other. Most of the time, the management company take care of that. If they have any issue, it's just to engage the management company, and the management company take care of those. Then, as somebody that is just starting new, you can easily manage what you'll be paying as condo fee, then compared to what you'll be getting as a rental income on that kind of property. If you get a proper property in a good location, say you're paying condo fee of let's say 300 or something dollars a month, and then you are paying mortgage of let's say 800 or $900 a month, you are still able to save about 200 or thereabout, or sometimes even up to 500. It depends on the kind of condo you have. That is good one with the condominium. But the downside of that is, mind you, almost every year the condo fee keep going up, keep going up. Another thing that could happen is they could raise special assessment. If they raise a special assessment, you have to cough out money to pay for that. And that special assessment means that they want to do a bigger project and they tax everybody. That is if your condo doesn't have enough in their reserve fund. Then condo fee keep going up every year. And the rules and regulation bylaws that you cannot control. That is another challenge with condo fee. Then you don't have 100% ownership of that condo. Whatever decision the board makes, that is what guides your operation in that building. So you don't have 100% ownership. If you own a townhouse, similar situation also apply to a townhouse. The difference with townhouses, is we have different type of townhouse. There are some townhouses whereby you don't pay townhouses whereby you don't pay condo fee on. There are some that you have to pay condo fee. The good thing with that too is that in some townhouses, the out of the condo fee you pay, they clear your snow, they take care of the grasses and things like that, and you pay maybe even less on condo fee. Then you pay your mortgage, and you still enjoy your living. But you live in a community whereby you can't just make your own decision. They have rules, bylaws, regulation that guides the way you live, what you can do. And if you have a duplex home is the home whereby you have a party wall you share with your neighbor. It could be two or one. So if it's a duplex, we have duplex, we have triplex, we have fourplex. So In those cases, you still share with people. You mean you share side, you share fence with people. Sometimes the downside of that is if the property is not properly built, the sound from the other unit could be coming into your unit. You'll be hearing what you're saying, and you can't do anything about that. You just have to take it as it is because that is what your money worth. And so many other things that we could look into. But because of time, I consider
I
that we
I
are running out of time right
wish,
now.
like I wish that we could go on and on and on and on and on. But please make sure that you're sharing this with your friends, your family, and for those that you know that want to invest in real estate in Alberta. Here are tips and tricks that you might not get anywhere else. I am telling you, this is your one-stop shop, and now you're getting it. Please make sure you share people. But another thing I wanted to add is that if you have like a single family home or like that's which is a house, everything that happens in that house runs on the person that is renting. So you're not kind of, how do I put it? You're not the one doing everything. Like you said, they're long-term rentals for most people because when they see that, okay, this tenant is not doing bad, this tenant is doing well, they stay longer. But the thing, like you said, is that when they are moving out, there's always that huge gap before you get someone that will also be there for a very long time. And it was when I know that now, it was when I said living like in a house like this, I know that you have to take care of landscape, you have to, I'm like, the real estate system here is totally different from what I know it, because I remember that the lawyer I used to work with when I was in law school, she used to take care of property, right? So for her, we would do so many things here and there, and there was no issue of, oh, this one, this house, this water. No, well, maybe because the system in Nigeria is more or less like you kind of do everything yourself. You get your own bottle for water, you get your own meter for your light. So it's a very, very unique system. So when you come here, like we said, make sure you get the information. But I remember that I did not answer our question, which was, is there an African community, or is there when it comes to representation, a lot of people will want to not just because some people will say, oh, I've been burnt by some African realtors that I have dealt with, or I don't see enough African realtors out there. Is there a body of I don't know if there's a separate one that is like a community? Is there something like that?
Currently, none.
Okay.
That is why we don't have any for now. That is why I choose to take another path. If you uh, join my Facebook page, I always share information that most realtors don't do. And I know our people like to live a life of apathy, whereby I don't want to let people know what I'm up to. We are in a system whereby it's not a
Information is
shame.
king.
Yes, what you don't know, you don't know. What you know, you know. Even if you know, there are things you do not know. So I discovered this is a problem with our people. So came up with this initiative by the help of the Holy Spirit to start sharing some information about real estate. If you go to my page on Facebook and Instagram and co, I keep putting out information out there for people to see. Whoever that is connected with me on my Facebook page, you will see tons of information that will help you in making an informed decision. I keep doing that to be able to help our people because I know a lot of people don't know what you know until they get to know what you know. So I keep putting out information out there. Like this kind of platform you're running is a very, very good platform that is helping a lot of people directly and indirectly. There are questions that people, also there are many people that have, gotten into wrong hand and they've got their hand burned, so they don't like to deal with black people. Yes, I agree with you. There are dishonest people out there, then also there are honest people out there. May the Lord just help you to find the honest people that will not take advantage of you, but that will help you to achieve your goal. So if you're connected with me, I still have a lot to, I believe, I hope a time will come that I can come back to share
Yes,
more.
yes,
Or if
yes.
people have questions or needs, they can reach me directly. There are tons of information when it comes to real estate. Real estate here in Alberta, in Canada, uh, generally is very, very huge. Is very, very, very huge. You only take portion of what you need, run with it. If you need more, come for more information or go out to my page. You will get lots of information there that will help you in making an informed decision, and it will guide you to not fall into the pit of others. There are many people also that have made mistakes, but they are willing to let you go through that path to fall into their errors before you learn, which is not good. So don't learn from your own mistake, learn from the mistake of others. That is how to grow so fast. So this is what I will say. I don't know if I really answer your question.
So the yes, you did answer the question, and I feel like what I would say is, as Africans in Canada, we're just 3% of the entire population, right? So I will plead with us that if we have realtors in different parts of Canada, I will plead that we reach out to each other and create a community where people will be able to learn. In your local assembly, if you go to church or a mosque, please make sure that you create that community. But I believe that if we have African realtors of Canada and all the realtors together come together to be able to continually help the community, will grow. But like you said, one big problem is everybody works in secrecy. Nobody wants to say, this is exactly what I'm doing. This is, and for me, it is sad. It is sad that we are still doing that in 2021. It doesn't make any sense to me. To be very sincere with you, it doesn't. You can't grow. So currently, Mr. Isreal Ademola is in Edmonton, Alberta. Someone's asking which church you attend. He attends Roma Chapel in Edmonton. So if you want to reach out to him, if you check the description, you would see his Instagram and Facebook page. So please make sure you reach out to him. Before the end of the year, we should be able to bring him back. And by then, we'll only bring him back if we get enough questions from every one of you. If you don't send in the questions, you have to go and do consult by yourself with him. So that's what we are going to do. We're not going to bring you back if you don't do a proper consult. That's what I would say. Um, but yeah, I wanted to let everyone know that that is one thing that's the only way we can grow as a community. We can't grow as a community if we continually, like you said, hide stuff from each other, be secretive towards each other. It
Live
won't
about
work.
it.
It won't work. There's no rivalry. The way it works is that when each and every one of us shine, we will all shine. There's no, you can't dim lights, if I will put it that way. You can't. You have to shine. I have to shine. So why can't we all shine together? Right. But thank you very much, Mr. Ademola, for sharing with us today. I believe people have been able to get some questions answered. And like you can see on the screen, to support, please send an email to lifemattersanuadidiri@gmail.com. If you want to share, if you want to do anything with us, please send an email to us. If you want to share, if you want to, one way you can support is by sharing this video, by liking it, by subscribing to the channel, by sharing with your friends so that they can subscribe to the channel. There is a limit to the number of reach you have if people don't subscribe to your channel. So we are only 300 plus, so want to reach more people, right? We want more people to have this conversation. And if there are any topics that you want us to discuss, or if you want me to bring a mortgage broker, there are also videos that I can also send you to, and I can also bring someone that is into that when it comes to mortgage and investments and stuff like that. But thank you very much, sir, for coming in today. I believe people have been able to learn one or two things, and I hope they're able to go back, watch this video, share with their friends. So till we see you on another time, do you have any final words for the people out there?
Well, I want to thank you once again for coming on your platform, and I want to thank the audience out there for their questions and making their time to, um, uh, join this platform. What I would say, I have much to say, but what I would say is um, a fail to plan is planning to fail.
Hmm.
It's good to plan properly before you dive into real estate.
Hmm.
You need to know so many things before you make the step. Most especially for some people that buy condos too.
Hmm.
I will, just go that route a little bit because there are things you need to know that I believe I didn't say much on that. I need to say now. There
Hmm.
are things you need to know before you buy condo. If you are buying condo,
Hmm.
number one, you need to know their reserve fund. Know what the corporation has in reserve. If
Hmm.
you do not know that, you see a good deal. You can see condo worth of $1 million. You can see condo worth of $300,000. You can see condo worth of 50 something $1,000 in the market.
Hmm.
If you look at the price and you run into it, you might run into debt.
Hmm.
So check if they have enough a robust reserve fund. Number two, go through their minutes at least a year back, minutes of the board. You get to know what are the projects coming on. Number four, that you need to know is are there special assessment that is coming, that is in making, that you do not know about. Those things, if you don't know, you could run into trouble. You don't want to start an investment with a debt. Then another thing you need to check is location. How is the market? How is the competition when it comes to renter in that area? Then another thing you need to know is the kind of numbers of units that are open for sale in that property. These are the information that even some realtors don't know because they are not into property management, they are not into condominium management. So they don't know lots of this information. If you see a property whereby a lot of units are in there for sale, watch out. It's not a good property. For a good property, you only find one, two, three property that they want to sell. So there is a lot. Like I said, we are going above the time right now. I can't say too much, but all I will say is do your due diligence, ask questions, engage the right people, talk to people. Don't live a life of apathy. Don't live a life of, "Oh, I don't want people to know." Nobody cares about what you are making. Nobody cares about what you are going through. Because I realize that most of the things that cause problems, that even goes to the point that family are going separate ways, is this uh, um,
Chrissy.
trying to meet up with their ends at the end of the day. Because if, as a couple, when you started, you see yourself often, you meet, you enjoy time together. But when you put a load on yourself by trying to grow big in order to manage well, is a problem. Manage well to grow big, not grow big to manage well. Start from where you can afford and start growing big. If sometimes another deception people get into is oh, you're qualified for 500,000, come and take the 500,000 and go and buy a house worth of 500. No, for the fact that you are qualified for that amount does not mean you should buy a house worth of that amount. Start small and grow big so that you can enjoy your family, number one, enjoy your relationship with God, number two. Don't let Satan deceive you to the point of you be living a life of servitude, that you'll be working all the day of your life in order to mix up with your ends meet. No, that is not what you are built for. So cut your coats according to your clothes, according to your material. Thank you.
I believe that those final words were not, they were not, and to be very sincere with you guys, I only send out like a summary of questions that I feel we should ask, but this is final words. I believe that God has someone in mind wherever you are listening to this. Um, don't let whatever it is that you have right now deter you from the future that God has already planned for you. God will not give you something to destroy what he has given you. God is not a God of confusion. If God blesses you with something, he wants to double the blessing you already have. So like he said, live within your means. If right now what you can afford is a 2-bedroom, you and your family have the best time in that 2-bedroom apartment. The memories and, like someone would say that it's not just about working and working, like you said. It's about enjoying that time with your family. So if you actually have a family, you are in a 1-bedroom, you're in a 2-bedroom, enjoy, see that moment. You can, and I think that's one thing about time, you can never take back time, you can never take back words, right? So whatever it is that God has given you right now, make sure that you enjoy it to the max and manage it well. Remember the parable of the talents. But Israel, you're making us preach today. Remember the parable of the talents. The person that they gave 5, the master knew his capacity, that's why he gave him 5, and same as the person he gave 3, but the person he gave 1, imagine if he gave the person that gave 1 5, he won't manage it well. You probably bury it and say, I can give that 1 10 and you gave me 5. So if God has given you something, make sure you manage it well, because at the end of the day, we will all give account of our lives here on earth. It won't be how many cars you buy, how many houses you built, how many what do you call that thing? Jet skis or whatever. Have you been to Dubai? That one is not the business. It is how have you impacted life, how have you lived your life on earth, right? So it's not about, like you said, the bank has given me $1 million. I have to go and get a $1 million house. No, look at how do I make sure that, okay, if the bank gives me 1 million, can I get multiple properties where they will be giving me income, even if it's $500 every month? If they are giving me income, like Mr. Isreal said, whatever income you're getting from that investment, make sure you take that thing, separate it from your personal stuff and go and store it somewhere. You never know. If, let's say, in the middle of the night, something happens, a part of the house gets destroyed, or let's say someone breaks, you never know, right? So it is very important. I believe that it is not flesh and blood that made him say those final words, but we are so grateful to everyone that's tuned in today. Please make sure, and thank you to everyone that shared the video. I've been seeing so many notifications, people sharing it on their Facebook page. Please, as an African community, let's begin to pull our resources together. See, all these other communities that we are seeing, they had to work together. So like Mr. Ademola said, please, if you're a realtor out there, you are of African descent, please reach out. Let's have that. If we have association of realtors, association of, I know that in parts of even Edmonton here, there's that for lawyers. You can have that for singers. You can, let's start building multi-generational wealth. We don't want our children to come and suffer the suffer that we have suffered too, right? We don't want it. We want our children to have better life and live better lives. And don't look at yourself right now that because you're living in 1 bedroom, that is the end of your life. No. Your story, the plan God has for you is bigger than that. So why not manage what God has given you right now? And by the time he doubles it, triples it, be rest assured that God does not bless you to create bitterness or rancor in your family. And like Mr. Ademola said, if at any point, whatever it is that you have gotten, whether it's money, whether it's property, and it's creating rancor in your family, please take a step back and reevaluate. Because properties can be destroyed, but you know the life of your children or your wife, you can never replace. So you can replace so many things. You can't replace life. So thank you very much, Mr. Ademola, for those final words. They are powerful. And I pray that God will speak into people's hearts today. And for any marriage or whatever marriages out there that are going through a lot of storms right now, we pray that the peace of God that passeth all understanding will heal and fix those marriages in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much, Mr. Ademola. Please make sure that you follow him on Facebook at Isreal Ademola, and on Instagram, his name is Divine PMYEG. Divine, PMYEG, all in one word. We'll put the link in the description so that you can go check him out. And if you have any business or you live outside Alberta, you live outside Canada, and you say you want to invest here, know that there's foreign tax, there's foreigners tax. So don't say that Mr. Ademola did not tell you, but he will be there. And if you have properties and you want someone to help you manage them, please reach out to him. Or if you have any questions that you've been thinking about, or you live in a condo or a particular house where you need to find questions, he's readily able to do that. So we want to say a big thank you for coming on the show. We've gone over 20 minutes, but we're excited that God was able to say those words to his people today. Till we see you next time, and next week we're going to be having another real talk from Ontario. So if you want to do business in Ontario, please make sure that you check in on the show again. But till we see you next week, have a blessed week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.